Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my man, the number one guy I know, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. That other badass jet pilot is my friend, the guy who watches my six, my main man, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother Paul? How are you?
Well, Commander Drew, it's good to see you this morning. You look very bright and chipper. You have a very interesting background. I'm ready to do the show. Hope you're ready too.
Yeah, it's called Purple Passion as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it really does look pretty if you're watching us on YouTube. All right, let's start off our show with a quote. Life is short and there is no time for hate. That's an easy one. That's by Sandy Dahl. Life is short and there's no time for hate. Don't you agree with that?
Very much so. Yeah, life is very short. Hate is a waste of time. Sometimes it's popular, and a lot of times it's stirred on by the media and folks that want to get attention. Unfortunately, it works, but that's not something you should do. Avoid that. You know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. If you're doing it, stop doing it.
Yeah, and when you hate something, you really hurt yourself. The other,
True. Yeah.
whatever you hate or whoever you hate is not affected by it. You're just hurting yourself. You're stressing out yourself. And actually, the opposite of hate is love. And I think that's what we all need. We need some love.
Right.
All right, Dr. Paul, let's start off with some good news. What if I told you that stores that give away food make the most money? What would you say?
I would say I heard that. I heard that they give away food. And the strange thing is, I guess you get a tax deduction, but what they also do is they create shelf space so that they always have good looking stuff all the time because we're so picky about getting an apple. It might have like it's not absolutely perfect. I'll admit to that because we're a little bit spoiled.
Yeah, I think so. And you realize that we give away 2 billion pounds of food a year. That's worth about $3.5 million. But they're saying all the stores that do give their food away to help people that can't really afford food, they all actually make a bigger profit. And that's how it should be. I got another good news story for you. You know how hard it is to cancel a subscription? Like I canceled DirecTV. They called me every single day for like 2 weeks. But there's a new law. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has just wrote a new law that says that canceling subscriptions should be as easy as getting a subscription. How do you like that?
I like that a lot because I've had that problem too with getting out of something and you got to go through 10,000 different procedures, do something that should take 5 seconds, and they make it hard. And sometimes they don't always do it and say, "Oh, my mistake." That's a lot, in my opinion. But the FTC has gotten on them. The federal FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is designed to protect consumers' rights, and they're kind of a watchdog, I guess, to encourage fair competition. And they can levy fines and put the hammer down on people. There's a pretty famous internet marketer that I followed that really had his hands slapped really hard by the FTC. Probably a pretty good guy, but he didn't do any jail time. But I think he came on the verge of kind of losing it all and changes his practice.
Well, in this world, if you cheat, you're going to get caught sooner or later by somebody or something. I believe good overcomes evil all the time, no matter what. And that law is called the click to cancel law. So anybody out there who can hear us or see us, the new subscription law is that you will be able to cancel a subscription as easy as it was to get a subscription. All right, I got another one. Did you know that teen smoking is at its lowest in 25 years, which is excellent news. Kids in high school and junior high school are getting away from tobacco and nicotine. How do you like that one?
Like that, I'd never heard of any advantage to smoke and tobacco. I've never smoked anything. In fact, I'm allergic to smoke. Didn't realize that till some military activities. But
No kidding.
yeah, 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 yeah. It had to do with airplanes, but I couldn't. No, not at all. I could suffer through it.
One of the funny things about smoking is anybody who has smoked, the very first time you inhale smoke, you cough. Everybody does. And they can get monkeys to do almost anything. But the one thing they cannot get an animal to do is inhale smoke into their lungs. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I thought I'd seen some old pictures of chimps smoking a cigarette, unless that was
They might
gently.
have been smoking it, Paul, but they weren't inhaling it.
Oh, okay.
They cannot get an animal to actually inhale smoke into their own lungs.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm getting that from. I got a black and white image, and I don't know if it was Three Stooges or Abbott and Costello or something that's floating around in there, but I saw something somewhere. Okay, all right, they didn't inhale.
No,
They
I've seen also.
they okay,
It's
they
the
smoked, but they didn't inhale. I think I've heard that somewhere.
that's correct. It's the inhalation that really gets you bad. And when you lose a tooth, what if I told you that they're experimenting with something that regrows teeth? There's a protein that inhibits teeth growth or your teeth growing back the third time. And they just tested it out in ferrets and mice, and they said that their teeth had come back. How about that one?
That's great, and that'll be great for people, particularly or any age, I guess, but particularly as people get older, when they're likely to have some more tooth difficulties if they can regrow teeth as opposed to getting artificial ones put in there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something really special. Well, you know what our title is? A new way to get smarter. Do more leg exercises. Well, let's talk about that. Did you know that leg strength actually has a major, major function in your brain? And the more leg strength you have, the smarter you become. Did you have any idea that doing more leg exercises actually helps your cognitive abilities?
No, Commander Drew, I did not. I just until recently, and the reason for that is really strange, in that it really helps you with your leg motion. You got leg motion, leg strength. You can socialize more. You can be with more people, and you get mental stimulation, I guess, from the company and the interaction with others. In order to do that, it helps if you can move. There's that word again, move. And having strong legs helps you move, helps you stay with people, and gives you contact to expand your brain.
That's true. And this is a very true statement that just tripped me out. The faster you walk, the longer you'll live. In other words, people with a slow gait, somebody who walks really slow, like you said, they actually live less than people who walk quicker. And I started walking quicker and I've started doing more leg exercises. And another reason for your brain to get better with leg exercises is that the balance that you produce with leg strength, that you don't fall, because most people get hurt when they fall, and older people really have to be careful with that. So
Right.
I am now doing a lot of leg exercises. I'm sure you are too, Paul.
You can do simply, and I did this when I was flying, particularly international. I would get up and I would just do squats, even with you didn't need any space for that. And I would just squat maybe 25 to 50 times periodically, just to keep things moving. I was just trying to keep my body from just shutting down from lack of movement. And I didn't
That's
realize I
true.
was
We
moving.
used to fly 11, 12, 13 hours sometimes straight,
Yeah.
and your body would just sit there in a chair. So you had to get up and do some movement. That was really important. And, we did a show. The number one leg exercise, as you just said, are squats.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's the easiest thing. I mean, I do mine you can do it with weights or no weights. You can put whatever. You can put 500 pounds on your back or nothing. You lift up a couple of socks or just your body weight. It's fine.
Well, I use my body weight because my knees cannot take me holding weights and
Yeah,
doing squats. But I just do squats as best as I can without hurting my knees as many times as I can.
yeah,
And
that's fine. That's fine. If you get, eventually get doing, you'll get breathing.
no doubt about it. That's why you're so smart. You do a lot of squats.
Need to do more.
We are sponsored by Magic Mind. This is a great little substance that Dr. Paul and I take. And one of the things that they say is that they improve your motivation. Well, what if I told you last week I was in New Orleans? As a matter of fact, we did the show from New Orleans, but that means I didn't work out for about a week. And you need it sometimes. Sometimes your body needs to rest. And so that's what I figured I was doing. So when I got back home, my wife Katrina had just come back from a trip to DC because Tennessee State and Howard played a football game. It was Howard's homecoming. So she hadn't worked out in a week. So I'm telling you this because the first day we were going to work out again, she rolls over and says, "Can we take just one more day off?" And my first initial response was, "Yeah, that sounds great." Something in me said, "Hell no. Get your ass up, Drew, and start this workout program again." And believe it or not, I did. And it's got to be the magic mind because all the time, that other person in my head would get it. Yeah, just roll over and do it. And anybody out there who would like to get Magic Mind, all you have to do is go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. And if you get a subscription, they'll give you 40% off. If you just like to try it a few times, then you can put in the code Wingmen20. That's Wingmen20, and they'll give you 20% off. What do you think about that, Dr. P?
That's good. Yeah, get the discount when you can get it. It's worth it. And I, excuse me, a similar thing. While you were gone, I had a couple things come up, and I had a schedule problem. I couldn't work out. Then one day I was just got kind of sick one night for a couple hours. That threw me off schedule. And the following day, when I was okay, I said, maybe I need to take another day off. I said, no, I did take my Magic Mind in the morning, and I squeezed one out, and I did a pretty good one too. But initially, I said, maybe I need a little more rest, but I didn't. And the Magic Mind convinced me, no, I didn't. I did fine.
Well, what's really important is we were just talking about leg strength connected to brain strength. Well, here's the deal. Your brain controls everything. If you can clear out your brain, if you can make your brain more powerful, that's where your actions come from. It all comes from your own thinking. And so I figured the better you think, the bigger your brain is, or the smarter you are, the more likely you are to have a good life, the more likely you are to have a good life. So that's why the brain is so important. And your brain, that's where the motivation starts, right there in your thinking.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, thank you so, so much for subscribing to our show, for watching us on YouTube, for watching our shorts on IG and TikTok, watching and listening to us on Apple Podcasts and anything else. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate all the letters that you send us. And we do have a website. Our website is wingmanshow.com. That's wingmanshow.com. We appreciate the letters you send us. And those letters are called the frequent flow line. In other words, people ask us questions and we answer them. And I got a good one for you today, Paul. I got a real good one. A frequent flow line, a 37-year-old woman from Sarasota, Florida. She said, because of the recent hurricane damage, my home and my job are gone. I have to move back with my parents in Texas. I want to find a job there so I can start my life again, but I don't want to be a waitress anymore. Any suggestions on how to change careers? I love your show, and thanks for the break in all the bad news lately. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate that letter. You want to start off, Paul?
Sure. I would say, yes, Mr. Drew, I would say, first of all, thank you for enjoying the show and subscribing. And we try to keep bringing good news. I'm sorry you had to go through the hurricane, that hurricane, there's more than one. It's destroyed a lot of lives and a lot of people. but obviously you're still standing, and that's great. Yeah, you're 37 years old. You want to start over again? Understand, this is a good time to do it. You're not too old. You're not an old person. If you were 57, I'd say the same thing. Um, if you want to start something new, I would say get training, and one of the places you can do it easy, cheap, if you're listening to us, I call it YouTube University. What are you interested in? Look at things. You can really go through a catalog of more stuff than you could see in 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes. If it's something technical or non-technical, just type it in there in the search bar, see what comes up. I would say look at maybe 5 or 10 good videos on what you're interested in and see what it takes to do it. And you can break down, what you type in the search bar will determine what you get and see what programs are available for you. Generally, something's gonna fall in the line of education, training, understanding. Get it that way. I'm just throwing out YouTube because it's all over the place. It's pretty much free, and you can do that at your leisure. So the big thing is to get started and narrow down what you want to look at, because you can get lost in YouTube and accomplish nothing. So focus on what you're most interested in and get more and more information. And there's a lot of stuff that's available for you for no charge.
That's very good. And what I did is when I was 26 years old, finally had to ask myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? Dr. Paul and I have been very lucky because our jobs we love to do. We love flying jets. We love flying big planes all over the world. So, what I want you to think about is find something that you really love to do, maybe a hobby, and find out if there's a job that you can do with it. But Paul said it, you have to get training. The more training you have, the better you are at any career that you have. But I think you need to find something that you really enjoy doing because working sucks. So get a job that's not work, and that means you enjoy doing it. I agree. Look at YouTube, read books. But I started off from A to Z. I started off with animal trainer, architect, archaeologist, and I just did A through Z. And when I came to pilot, I stopped, and that's what I did. So I think
Oh, I
that's
can I can I can see you as an animal trainer. I just can. I can see you as an animal trainer.
well, an animal trainer brings me to this. From the 11 Facts in Life, this is from fact number 2. Be better than your parents and make this world better for your children. Once again, be better than your parents and make this world better for your children. And when I say that, I don't mean richer than your parents. I mean, do something that your parents couldn't do. Like if I was an animal trainer, my dad trained Muhammad Ali. So it took a lot for me to try to be better than that. And, for a long time, I didn't think I was better. The good thing is my father thought I was much better, especially when I started flying jets and speaking to kids all over the country. So be better than your parents and make this world better for your children. What do you think?
That's a good thing to do, Drew. Everyone should try to basically improve if you can, and most of us can if we put our effort into it, our nose to the grindstone, and just do your best. Do your best. Don't be too satisfied, and try to be better.
Great advice, Paul. Great advice. Well, that magic mind has so many ingredients in it. And I want to talk about vitamin B, especially vitamin B2, B3, and B12, because Magic Mind has all of that in it. And I don't know if you knew this, but vitamin B2 actually it's protection and has antioxidant properties. It's great for eye health. It's great for skin health. It's great for headache relief and it also gives you energy. What about vitamin B3, Paul?
Yeah, B3's got a lot of benefits too. Got energy metabolism, helps you convert nutrients into energy, helps with cholesterol, lowers the LDL, bad cholesterol, brain function, helps cognitive functions, skin health, helps maintain healthy skin, and digestive health. Helps the supports a healthy digestive system and fixes your mucous membranes.
Wow. And vitamin B12 it helps with function, heart health, energy boost, red blood cell production, DNA synthesis, bone health, mood regulation, and nervous system maintenance. So vitamin B is really important. I didn't know it had all those functions, Paul.
Yeah, a friend of mine, many years, it was more than 30 years ago, who was deep into health stuff and really advanced at that time before I really came on board, changing my lifestyle. Always said, always get your B complex vitamins, especially when you're dealing with difficult people.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think that's true. He said, you deal with, he said he had more colorful language, but when you're dealing with difficult people, B complex vitamins will really help out. Never
Oh,
forget.
that's very interesting. Well, anybody who would like to get Magic Mind with B2, B3, B12 vitamins in it, if you'd like to get Magic Mind, just go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. And if you get a subscription, they'll give you 40% off. If you just like to try it a couple times, just put in the code Wingman20. That's Wingman20. They'll give you 20% off. But Dr. Paul and I take it. They sponsor us. And I'll tell you something right now. We won't take a sponsor that we don't believe in. I promise you that. We don't need to. Not financially stuck where we have to do things that we don't want to do. So that's a good thing. You always know that the Wingman Show, if we say something's good, we believe that it's good. Well, Paul, in the Navy, we had the gouge, and the gouge was shit you needed to know that people didn't tell you all the time. So I'm going to ask you this question.
Sure.
Last week, we talked about the best vegetable, in other words, the most nutrient dense vegetable in the world, and that was watercress. This week, I'm going to ask you, what do you think the best fruit is for nutrient density?
Well, Commander Drew, until I did some more research, I would have said it was pineapple.
Pineapple. Oh, it's very healthy, but you're not going to believe this. It's a tomato. Tomatoes considered a fruit is the most nutrient density of any other fruit. Did you know that?
No, tomato.
All right, how about this one? The top 5 safest cities in the country. I'm going to give it to you. Number 1, South Berlin, Vermont. Number 2, Casper, Wyoming. Number 3, Warwick, Rhode Island. Number 4, Burlington, Vermont. And number 5, Boise, Idaho. Did you know that?
No, didn't know that. See, I've been to Boise once, Burlington a bunch of times years ago, and it was very quiet.
Well, we gotta go the other side of this. What are the 5 worst cities? In other words, the least safest cities. And I'm sorry to say that leading the list, the worst city that they have out of 182 cities was somewhere that Paul and I lived. My children grew up there. Paul's children grew up there, and that's Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm so sorry to see that because I had a great time in Memphis. But I think they need to get their shit together because it's becoming a very, very unsafe place to be or to live, Paul.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I can say, like I said, not long ago, Commander Drew, I was in Memphis for a while to the OBAP convention, Organization of Black Aviation Professionals, and I had a great time. I was there a number of days, and great host, great system, everything was great. And down on Beale Street one night too for extended periods, and like I said, I survived it. It was great. There were a lot of police down there. In fact, I had a picture taken with some. Maybe we can throw that on there. But that was a good night when I was down there. I will say that.
Oh, that's great. Well, just like every city in the country, there are places you should go into the city, and there are certain places you shouldn't go. I remember when the ship pulled in, they actually cornered off. In other words, they put shore patrol sailors on the section of Naples that they did not want us to go into. And it wasn't a very safe place in Naples to go. They would not let us go there. I won't forget that. Well, let me give you the top 5 worst cities. After that was Detroit, Michigan. Then Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is very interesting. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and New Orleans, Louisiana, where I went to school. My daughter was born there. My daughter actually lives there. My daughter and my granddaughter live there now. And that's where I just left, New Orleans. And it's a great town. But there are places in New Orleans you can go. What do you think?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed Fort Lauderdale. Because when I think Fort Lauderdale, I think of that Marriott used to lay over the head all the luxury yachts and the helicopters
That's
on the
right.
beach. That's what do I know? But
No,
you're right. They're place where where I grew up. I'm looking at stuff in the news and where I used to catch the bus, their drive-by shootings, where I used to go get to catch the school bus. That was kind of distressing, disheartening to see. And that was a couple of weeks ago, but world's changed a lot in the last 50, 60 years. So,
yes, it has. And you need to keep your wits about you wherever you go, no matter where on the planet you go. But Fort Lauderdale, like you said, that's very interesting because I stayed at the same hotel that you did. And you look out that window, and there were hundreds of $1 million yachts, not a couple, not three or four. I could not believe they had so many large, big yachts. There's a lot of people with money in this country. Well,
yeah.
our show is called the Wingman Show. And the reason is because we always want to show people about people who help other people. We like to highlight people who are wingmen in this country. And you don't have to be a pilot to be a wingman. You just have to look after your fellow human being. And Dr. Paul has an incredible couple of wingmen that he wants to tell you about. Take it away, Doc.
Well, here it is, Commander Drew. Yes, I do have a couple of great wingmen who give of themselves to help others. And I would basically say sometimes heroes don't wear capes, they just wear work boots. And we're talking today about two individuals, Mr. Matt Martinka and a Mr. Nathan Curley. Matt Martinka and Nathan Curley. And they work for the Duke Energy Company. And those of you might remember Hurricane Helene did a great deal of damage from the Gulf of Mexico up through almost the northeast of the United States. In fact, you and I, Commander Drew and I went through that storm to some extent. Where we're living, absolutely nothing, but it really manifests itself up in western North Carolina badly. The city of Asheville was devastated and probably will be devastated for quite a while. But up in Asheville, North Carolina, there was a hospital, a Veterans Administration hospital that had lost power. And if any hospital, like anyone, they need power. They have machines, life-saving machines that need to keep going. But they found out this hospital, the VA hospital, didn't have power. And these two individuals, Matt Martinka and Nathan Curley, decided they had to do something about it. So essentially, they were going to what they call backfeed some power to the place. And basically, it's another way of getting an alternate line, a power line, to a major facility. This is not easy work. Long story short, they basically hiked through about a mile and a half of dense brush and muck and mud, and they said they were getting stuck, but they managed to do it. They basically temporarily rewired power going to the facility to keep people alive. Again, Mr. Martinka was an Air Force veteran himself, and I think he said he had a son in the Marine Corps. And he said the other veterans had done so much for the country that they needed to go beyond their normal limits and do something for them. Mr. Nathan Curley was an apprentice. He was an apprentice learning kind of on the job. And this kind of goes with our frequent flow line person. You can always get training, but in saving people, Mr. Curley was getting training. He obviously learned a lot. And they got power to the unit. I guess they're operating now, and there are many thankful people. So here's to Mr. Martinka and Nathan Curley for helping save the lives of countless veterans. Who knows how many lives they saved?
That's a great story, Paul. And there are so many heroes out there that help every day that don't get any recognition. And that's why the Wingman Show is here. We're here to bring you some good news. We're here to recognize people who do good things because it seems like we're inundated with bad news, and it shouldn't be like that at all. Well, everybody, if you can hear my voice, if you can see me, anything that you think is important, anything that you think is beautiful, and especially anything that makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
And I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. We appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. Share this with someone you know, someone you like, even someone you don't like. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a like, a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm and gets more people to see it. As I say, keep your chin up and keep moving forward.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it, just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.